In this video, we're going to be creating a social media ad banner for a fictional agency. So let's just get straight into it. As you can see, let's take a look at what we have here. We do have some kind of a very short brief. We do have a photo that I downloaded from unsplash.com. Here are the credits, so definitely go check this guy out if you're interested in his photos. And what we're going to do is the very first step is create our frame. So the most frequent, or like one of the most frequent formats for social media is 1200 by 628 or similar, right? So that's the horizontal format. So I just used the F on my keyboard and clicked once to create a frame. I need to specify the widths over here. So that's 1200 by 628. I think that's the format for Facebook. I'm not sure. I think so, yeah. And yep, I'm going to rename this to Ad Creative. Also, another thing that I might add is that we're going to use a red color. So let's assume that this fictional brand, this agency uses or wants to use a red color for this ad to stand out. Right? No, or that's just their visual identity. Okay, so let's consider that. And additionally, here are some elements are gonna be in the creative. So we're gonna have a logo. We don't have any logo at this moment, so that's just gonna have to be some kind of a placeholder. We're gonna have a headline that says "Tackle your creative challenges," right? Something very generic. It's gonna be very prominent. Maybe we're gonna add a brief subheadline / description. Let's see how it turns out. We're definitely gonna get a call to action, so something like "work with us," and of course the photo on the right. Okay, so let me just take this and shrink it so that it's more appropriate for our format. Also, let me move these elements onto my frame. I'm gonna leave this outside of the frame for now, the subheadline. This is the logo placeholder. I'm also gonna have to shrink this, let's say about half the size, place that inside of the frame, okay? And of course, what I'm planning to do here is make this really dynamic, really prominent, hard to miss. So I'm thinking that we could use like these red elements. So we're going to use a red color, okay? Some kind of a prominent red color. This one, I guess, and tests always change it later. So I'm thinking we could use like this kind of a shape, like for example for the call to action. So consider that we could have like the work with us. So consider that we could have like the work with us call to action placed on a button shaped like this, for example, right? Just to show the dynamic nature of things, I guess. Make it look like the agency is moving fast. So some shape like this I think could work in combination with the red color, could be really interesting. In any case, let's continue with our headline. This is gonna have to be really prominent because I wanted to really make this all about the headline. So let's just say that it's gonna have a rather large font. I wouldn't be afraid to like almost 100. Tackle your creative challenges. I think it could be some kind of a nice bold font, modern looking font. So let me let's just try this overused font. I don't think so. Nope. Let's try Proxima. I'm not sure about that. Let's try Inter, the default font for Figma to make things easy. Not a fan of the heaviest font weight, so let's just do Proxima Nova. Let's move these letters closer together. Let's change the letter spacing and of course the line height. Right, so it could be like extra bold, italic. Let's just go for extra bold for now, and let's try using this red that we have used. Let's also create a placeholder for our icon. So I'm just gonna do this, okay? Just gonna do a circle with this color, and I'm just gonna do like, you're gonna of course wanna replace this with whatever you're creating this for, okay? So whatever brand you're creating this for. So in our case, this is just gonna be a simple something to be placed in somewhere around this position, okay? So we could call that agency. And yeah, let's maybe experiment a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more visually interesting. So why don't I experiment with this shape? We could do like a less prominent circle. Okay, I think these two shapes go really well together. I think we could also use some kind of a gradient on the second one. Yeah, I guess we could, just remember, this is just a placeholder. I'm just experimenting with stuff right now. So yeah, let's just go with this agency. All right, very generic looking logo. That's exactly what we need at this point. Okay, so a very generic looking agency logo. Maybe this could be black, not sure. No, let's keep it red. Okay, so this is our logo. I'm just gonna select this, group it, Command G and Command R to rename this to logo placeholder. Okay, so we do have a fictional logo, and then what we could do is try and make this image work in the context of this layout. Remember what I said about this shape? I think we could duplicate it, place it somewhere around here, and then just adjust this shape and create a mask from this. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean in a second. I think we could make this even more narrow. I think we could do something like that. Okay, so let's say we're gonna go for, let's say that we want to keep this line intact, like the top line of the small caps of this row, you know what I mean? All right, so it is gonna align with the top of this photo. So let's just do this, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this image over into the frame. All right, make it as tall as this element, make sure it aligns on the bottom, and then I'm gonna select this, which I'm gonna rename to image mask. Select these two, and then I've got these two selected, and then use as mask. Okay, brilliant. So that looks pretty solid. I'm gonna also remove this element from the frame for now. Okay, we're definitely gonna use that. I think we could actually make this taller, and yeah. I think this looks good. And what I have in mind is this. Let me show you. We're going to take this color. So I'm going to copy the code. Then I'm going to go to the image, and under fill, I'm going to click this plus and paste the code in. So as you can see, this is now what happens. So we did a sort of red overlay. So now you can see how it's sort of all of this corresponds, fits nicely into the brand, which is really, really good, I think. Okay, I think this looks really interesting. We could experiment with blend modes. So what happens if we do like plus darker, color burn, lighten, screen? Let's just see if there's a mode that looks better than the normal mode. Okay, maybe hard light. I'm having a hard time differentiating between a hard light and normal. Difference, hue, saturation, color, luminosity. Normal and color look very similar, although let's do a side-by-side comparison. Okay, let me just actually copy this twice and 3 times, and let's just do a side-by-side comparison. Okay, so I'm gonna do color, and then I'm gonna do on this one, I'm gonna do, what was that? Exclusion. So these are my favorites, okay? These are my favorites. I do like how we get this cyan shade type of thing. I like the contrast here. This looks a bit bland, but I think if we somehow combine the third one and the second one, and the first one, that I think that could look really cool. So let's try how we could make this work. So let me just set the first one to normal, okay? And the second one, let me just copy that, and that let's try exclusion. What's gonna happen? And as you can see, nothing happens. That's because it interferes. The bottom one interferes with the top one, so we're gonna have to move that aside, and I'm gonna do that through a radial gradient again, so that this color overlay is just only on a specific part of the image and not on the whole image. Okay, so something like this, I guess. Ooh, I do enjoy this. This is too much, definitely. 100 is too much, but like 40 or 50 I think looks kind of nice. So let's just experiment with the position of this one. Okay. I would also do this on a radial gradient so that it's not everywhere. Okay, so it could be like over here, and this one is over here. So again, the difference between these two fills is the blend mode. Okay, this one is normal and this one is exclusion. Okay, that's the reason why we get different behaviors. I kind of do like this, you know, I do like this situation. Let's go with this. So as you can see, this is a combination of this one and this one. Yeah, sometimes you just need to experiment, okay? You just need to do a side-by-side comparison, and only then can you decide. All right, so what I think could look nice is let's place a line. Let's place a line on this layout. That's gonna be rather thin. It's gonna be this color, okay? And it is going to split the layout right where the photo starts, okay? So this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking, and it's gonna go all the way here, so it's like wider than the actual layout. I think we could move this forward 1 pixel so that, you know, we don't get this space. That's kind of nice. And then let's just play around with the opacity of this line to make it, like, you know, like more subtle. Perhaps we wanna do a gradient again that's going to extend from the left to the right with different opacities on each side. Let's try that. Okay, I think that's interesting. What about moving it over here? Would that make it look more interesting? Or doing one line over here and one line over here? What do we think about that? I do kind of like this situation with 2 lines. Maybe we could do even a third one over here. Okay, what do we think about this? Yep. I do like that. Maybe reduce the opacity even further. So you have like one prominent line, then one that is less prominent, okay? And that one that is very muted. What about making it a dashed line? Would that make it more intriguing? Would that make it more intriguing? I'll just keep it simple for now. So simple, solid lines for now, okay? All right, so what I would do now is make the font even larger. These 2 lines meet here exactly, okay? So this is kind of the goal, okay? And there's a place for a small subheadline, for a brief subheadline description. And it could be very tiny, like this, and it could say work with our award winning design studio. It'd be something like that. Make it really small. Let's just see if we like 1 line or 2 lines. I think 2 lines work best. Use the red color. Okay, I think I do like this. I'm gonna have to work on this being a bit more interesting. I think this is too... I just have to think about the position of this a bit more thoroughly. So maybe align that to all the way to the left, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like placing it over here is just too predictable, you know? Not so interesting. So maybe somewhere around here. I don't know. Let's go back to that. All right, so I think we could make the logo a bit larger. So let me use the K tool to increase the size of this logo of our fictional agency. And let's try and add the button. Okay, let's try and add the call to action. We do have to duplicate this image mask over here and actually turn off the masking. We want to use the same angle for our button. All right, so let's just do a button, and the way we're going to do this is create again extra bold font. Use that, Shift A, and then the font is going to be cap height to baseline vertical trim, and then I'm going to increase this, right, padding, make the background red. All right. Even taller, I think. And now, how do we integrate this angle into this button? I think what we could do is simply, very simply, create another rectangle, okay? And then press enter select these two vertices and make sure I move both of them and meet these two top vertices over here. Okay, so this is close enough, I guess. Enter and then select this one and subtract selection. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag this out a bit more and then Shift E on this. And now we have this angle, right? We do have this angle, precisely this angle that we can use in our button. So I'm gonna make this smaller to match the height of this. And I'm gonna do Command X, select this, and Command V. Now, this is gonna be absolute position, Option V to center that vertically, and Option A to align that to the left. But then I'm gonna move it 46 points to the left so that it kind of makes the button look cut in this manner. I'm gonna then duplicate this object, flip it, Shift V, align to the right, and again move it. And I accidentally flipped that vertically instead of horizontally, I think. Okay, so horizontally first and then vertically. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go for. And yeah, that's how we get this button. We can even now change the text and it's gonna be responsive. Okay, so contact us. I think we could do bigger paddings, 40 and 26, which then means that we're gonna, or 25, 24, whatever. We then have to make this like 111, this one as well, just to make sure the height is the same, and then make sure the alignment is intact. Okay, alignment is intact. Now here's a problem. We do have a decimal width, but the position is only in whole pixels. So we're gonna have to probably do one of two things. We have to subtract 0.42 from this, I think. All right, now it aligns precisely, and then I think add 0.42, so it's plus 0.42 to match this, to compensate for the width. And now let's place that onto our frame. And yeah, I think this looks really solid. Okay, let's just think about the position of this. Maybe let's add a shadow, a drop shadow. That's also going to be red, and play around with the blurring, with the position, and just overall make it look visually interesting. Now, I think there's a problem that we need to solve, and that's first of all, I think we could make this font a bit smaller. So let's go from 42 to like 34, which also means that we're gonna have to increase the size of this. We're gonna have to go to 105, so 105, 105, 105, and align that. And then I think the contrast is not sufficient in this area. I think we could add a bit of white color to differentiate that. I think we could do like overlay in the form of a gradient again, so that the change is gradual. I think we could do all the way to 100. And then of course that means also adjusting the color of this part. So sample from here. Brilliant. Let's also make sure that actually this is linear, and it starts here so that there is no color difference in this area whatsoever. Okay, so I think that's better. I think we could also make the shadow more muted and then move that a little bit to the left so that it stands out a bit more. And yeah, I think this might work actually. Now, I think we could also do 2 rows on this little claim. Font size, I think looks solid. I think we could align that with the bottom part of the button, or 3 rows actually. I'm not sure about this one. Let's just place it somewhere around here. Brilliant. And now also what I think we could do is add something in this area to match this angle. So let's just duplicate this object again, remove the masking, place that inside of the frame and change the size. I think we could do, I don't know, something like this perhaps, make it wider, you know, something like that. Add a bit of depth, I guess, make it seem like it continues, right? Make it seem like this line is intact. I think that looks really good. Let's go for a radial gradient. I do like radial gradients. Yes, thank you for asking. I use them a lot. I think they look nice, but in this case, I don't feel like using it. These lines, I am not sure about the position of these lines. Let's experiment with placing one of them at the bottom. Maybe move it over here. Remove this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna remove this one. Okay, I think I'm gonna remove this one. Let's experiment with adding another line. This time that's gonna be like on the left. So why don't I just keep experimenting with adding another line? These lines, they oftentimes, I think they could represent the creative process, I guess. Precision and sketching and all that, all these, you know, associations. I think that could be the underlying message with these lines. And also lines they lead the eye nicely. They create an understandable layout, and I think they look satisfying. So that's why I like using them as a creative elements, honestly. I think they look solid. I do like them. In this case, however, I think I'm going to remove this one. As you can see, it's just back and forth. Let me actually do a line that has this angle. So that's stroke, sample the color, and we do have a line with this angle. Maybe if we place one over here, what is that going to look like? Increase the thickness, maybe over here, or let's place that over here, make it larger, increase the opacity. Yeah, I do. Oh yeah, I really enjoy this. I think this is nice. It seems like the line is cutting off the button in a way, and I think that looks very interesting. What about adding another white line over here? Is that gonna be interesting? Let's extend that all the way to here. Oh yeah, I think I like this. I think we could, let's try adding a gradient, make it fade on the top like this. Is that gonna work? I think so. Yeah, I do like this. Oh, okay, I do like this. Let's just keep that for now. Let's focus on this line for now. Let's also add a gradient, a linear gradient. That's going to be like faded on the bottom. So this one is faded on the top, this one is faded on the bottom. It's a nice little symmetry we do have going on, so that could be interesting. Yeah, right. So I think we could make this more muted, and I think we're getting pretty close with to the final result, right? So we do have that's just one thing that I have in mind, and that I would like to see some kind of a darker color, some more dominant color on the left side. So why don't I sample this color, right? And do a radial gradient on the text so that we do have something like more prominent on the left side as well. And I think that wasn't a bad idea. As you can see, it matches closely with whatever we have on the right, right? So if we have just this, I don't think this is prominent enough, the text, but with this gradient, I think that works wonders. I'm also gonna add a color, this color, to our line on the top, and yeah, I think that's exactly what we need on the left side. Some more prominent, darker color like this. That works. That definitely works. And yeah, what about, hear me out, what about using this line, rotating it, and then placing it over here so that it touches with the right edge, it touches the right edge of the logo, and at the same time it touches the left edge of this text. What do we think about that? Purely red with decreased opacity. Yeah, I think that might actually work. Okay, so that's one extra like level of logic to the layout. I think that's nice. What about adding one extra element over here just to create some more depth, some more rules to the layout, maybe with even a line? I think that's too much. I think that's simply too much. However, I think that at this point we are getting really close to final result. Let's extend that beyond the frame. And yeah, you know what? I think that's it. I think I think this is it. I think adding more elements, adding more stuff would just harm this layout. I'm happy with this result. You know, it's very dynamic, it's red, it's fresh. It's definitely gonna capture your attention. It has a overall concept with this angle. I think it uses lines to split the layout. It has gradients, interesting colors on the photo. As I said, definitely go check out this guy that uploaded the photo to unsplash.com. And yeah, if you'd like to download the source file for this and use this in your own project, you know, replace your logo, replace your image, replace your claim, and even the colors, definitely go and check the link in the description. That will take you to my store where you can purchase the source file for this ad creative. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you learned something new. If you did, I would really appreciate you leaving a like, and I will see you in the next one.